And then we have Nitika Agrawal. Nitika I could see. So right now I guess Diksha and Shivani. These two persons that they are yet to join us. Okay, so I think we have five of us already present here. Just to give you a little background, as you are aware, this was a 3 day event. 2 days we had in an offline mode. It was a very multi-stakeholder kind of an event involving researchers, policymakers, government officials, farmer groups, artisan groups, etc. And nearly 250 people from nearly 20 plus states from different parts of the country could join us. So this is the final day, which is in the virtual mode. In this session would be chaired by Dr. Thakur. As I said, he is the chairperson of Department of Geography in Himachal Pradesh University. Just a brief introduction. He holds a MA, MPhil and PhD degrees in geography from Kurukshetra University. He has been particularly interested in travel studies on socioeconomic issues, regional development, and geospatial technologies. He has received doctoral fellowship from ICSSR. He was also confirmed upon as Professor N.P. Iyer Young Geographers Award 2008 for Best Research Work at the 30th Indian Geography Congress. He was also awarded a Global Scholar Exchange Program by Bath Spa University, BSU, United Kingdom, for developing mutual research and teaching relationship with Himachal Pradesh University. He has nearly 50 publications and 6 major research projects to his credit. And as I said, he is currently chairing the Department of Geography, taking this department to newer heights under his visionary leadership. Thank you for joining us, sir. We have Dr. Ramlal, his colleague there. He's a young geographer who has earlier worked with the Shahid Bhagat Singh College in New Delhi University, and he's recently joined the department. Welcome, Dr. Ramlalji. He would be co-chairing the session. As rapporteur, we are fortunate to have Dr. Bhawna from Amity University, Lucknow. She has recently joined the profession, but she is a seasoned mass communication expert, worked as a journalist for more than 20 years with reputed publications, and she is widely recognized and highly decorated individual in her field of journalism and mass communication. She would be acting as a rapporteur, taking down key proceedings here. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Thakur, you can take over from here.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Sachin. First of all, I would like to congratulate you and particularly your whole dedicated team. I can understand because, as you told, and I am aware of, it was a 3 days event, and it is very difficult to hold, such kind of events and so relevantly and systematically. But I can understand that since you were there, and I can understand that all the things went well. And I would like to congratulate you for another thing, because you have organized this seminar on a very relevant theme, that is promoting sustainable livelihoods in the Himalayas, particularly northwestern Himalayas, and fostering convergence among research, practice, and policy. You rightly said that you brought intellectuals, particularly researchers and people from the academia, research, and government side also. So it was good, and I'm really thankful to you for giving me a chance to chair this session along with my colleague Dr. Ramlalji and Dr. Bhavna ma'am joining us.
Thank you,
so
sir.
Hopefully we are, as you have confirmed the presence. Just I would like to name out only two people, whether Diksha Swaroop Tripathi.
Both have joined.
Are you there, ma'am?
Both have joined, sir. Diksha and Shivani
both have joined. So in all,
yes, sir,
we have.
Yeah.
Okay, so in all, we have 7 presentations, and we have 80 minutes. We are left with 80 minutes because the session was of 1 hour and 1.5 hours. So without wasting time, I would like to call upon the first speaker, Suresh Kumar Verma. or Teiborlang Dkhar, joining us from Central University of Himachal Pradesh, who would be speaking on using medicinal plants for promoting local livelihoods in Himachal Pradesh. So please try to complete your presentation within 8 to 9 minutes so that we can have 2 to 3 minutes for discussion. If someone has a question, kindly note down the question, or you can post the question in this text box so that we can have discussion at the end of the session. So Suresh Kumar, go ahead, or Teiborlang Dkhar, please go ahead.
Okay, sir. Namaste. Sab log namaste. I am Teiborlang Dkhar. I am going to present. Okay, let me share a screen first.
I request Dr. Ramlal to take care of the time, please. 7 to 8 minutes, sir. Dr. Sir.
Okay, sir.
I'm sorry to say, sir, I can't share a screen. No? I can't share.
Okay, don't worry. You just get ready. So we move further. I call upon Sumit.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sumit,
Good morning.
please. Yeah,
Good morning,
Sumit
sir.
and Gulshan Kumar would be talking on potential use of traditional medicinal plants by rural inhabitants of Chamba subdivision. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. So I'm sharing my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, your screen is visible and your presentation is also visible and you are audible also. Go ahead,
Thank
please.
you, sir. Uh, Good morning, everyone. I am Sumit, Assistant Professor, Department of Botany, Government College, Chamba. The topic of my presentation is potential use of traditional medicinal plants by rural inhabitants of Chamba subdivision, HP, India. Traditional knowledge has played and still plays a vital role in the daily lives of vast majority of people. Traditional knowledge associated with biological resources is the knowledge about the country's biodiversity, the applied uses, the application of biological resources, and the prevalent practices. Whereas ethnobotany is a useful relationship between plants and humans, it includes both wild and domesticated plants. In India, about 47,513 plant species are there, including 15,000 endemic species. Here, the people worship the various elements of Mother Nature to express their indebtedness for sustaining them. At present, about 7,000 plant species are used for medicinal purposes in India. Chamba is a treasure trove of Himachal medicinal plants and herbs. Local people of Chamba, they have been using medicinal plants and herbs to cure common ailments for centuries. This traditional knowledge is endangering because the transmission between the older and the younger generation no longer exists. It has been estimated that an average of 1 in 10 species of vegetable plants on this earth are endangered due to unplanned human activities. Therefore, sincere efforts should be made by all to conserve the rich Himalayan biological and cultural diversity. The present paper is an attempt to document the ethnobotanical knowledge of rural inhabitants of Chamba on medicinal plants. This is the study area. Chamba, it is situated in the Dholadhar ranges of outer Himalayas. The territory is wholly mountainous with altitude ranging from 600 to 6,500 meters. About the research methodology, ethnobotanical field surveys were undertaken to various rural pockets of Chamba district of HP during 2021-2022. First-hand information on medicinal plants used to cure common ailments were collected through interviews from family heads, traditional practitioners known as VADs, housewives, eminent elderly persons of the community, as suggested by Jan. Botanical identification of the selected species was done with the help of regional floras, nationally and internationally recognized herbariums, monographs, and scientific articles. The results are the rural inhabitants of Chamba are using plant-based traditional knowledge to fulfill their healthcare needs. In the present paper, 25 medicinal plants are listed. This is the list of the plants and the part used and the mode of administration. Because of the shortage of time, I will read out some of the plants. Acorus calamus, it is known as barya in local language. Its rhizome is used as medicine. Crushed rhizome is applied on the area affected by rheumatism. The dried rhizome is tied to the chest of infants to protect them from cough and cold. Ajuga bracteosa, it is vernacularly known as Neelkanthi. Its leaf juice is given to cure diabetes, and poultice of leaves and roots is applied for the treatment of rheumatism. Then Artemisia vulgaris, which is known as Charma locally, the leaf juice is given to treat dizziness and vomiting. Leaf juice mixed with the oxalis leaf juice, it is given to treat the fever in infants. Cannabis sativa, which is known as bhang, the paste of leaves made with cow urine is applied to relieve joint pain. Then Dodonia viscosa, which is known as mehendu locally, the leaf poultice is applied to relieve knee pain. Justitia athatoda, known as basuti, the decoction of leaves and the roots of this plant along with ginger and honey is given for all sorts of coughs. The tender leaves are chewed to treat constipation and piles. Then Melia aciderec, which is known as the rake, poultice of leaves is used in skin diseases. Nicotiana tabacum, which is locally known as tambaku. Tobacco leaves are applied on painful joints and painful muscles, along with salt, ghee, and fenugreek to reduce the pain and inflammation. Then Pistacia chinensis, known as kakar leaf galls are burnt and the ashes are mixed with honey and given to cure cough and asthma. Then Prunus armenica, locally known as cheer. Uh, it is like kumani, but the fruit is small and the seeds they are bitter in taste. The seed oil is massaged to give relief from the joint pain. Then Ricinus communis, which is known as aren, fermentation of leaves is applied locally in rheumatism and sprains. Then Solanum nigrum, known as kaya, leaf poultice is applied locally in rheumatism and sprain. Viola canescens, banafsha, is flowers, decoction of the flowers is given in cups. Then Vitex nugundo, known as bana, the leaf poultice is applied to relieve headache. Fermentation of leaves is given to treat swollen joints. And the leaves are boiled in water, and that water is used to give postpartum bath. Then Xanthosylum alatum, which is known as timber, its seed oil is applied to relieve tooth sensation and bleeding gums. Twigs are used to brush teeth and as a remedy for toothache. These are some of the photographs of the medicinal plants. Chorus calamus, then Dodonia viscosa, Melia aciderec, then Pistacia chinensis, Viola canescens, and Xanthosylum alatum. Then discussion and conclusion. It is evident from the study that the rural inhabitants of Chamba are using 25 plant-based traditional knowledge to cure common ailments. The overall diversity includes 25 genera and 23 families with 4 trees, 7 shrubs, and 13 herbs. The parts of plants used for the preparation of herbal remedies were mainly leaves, which are 57%, then seeds 10%, roots and rhizome 10%, fruits 10%, flowers 4%, leaf galls, milky sap, and twigs, they contribute 3% each. The drugs are prepared in the form of paste, poultice, decoction, or used directly in fresh. People use these plants as cure because their elders told them and because these are readily available in their vicinity and free too. Even the World Health Organization is advocating for the use of traditional medicines in primary healthcare needs to achieve the goal of health for all. Therefore, all possible efforts should be made to popularize and preserve this age-old knowledge of traditional medicine before it is lost forever. Moreover, promoting the use of traditional medicine can help in upliftment of the traditional healers. This will also help the people living in the remote areas who are still deprived of modern medicinal facilities. These are the references. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sumit. The presentation is open for discussion. If anyone has question, please you can ask a question directly from Sumit. Anybody, please. I think there is no question.
I have a question.
Yes, please, Tara and Dr. Tara.
Have you any data that how many people are using these plants to cure all these diseases?
Ma'am, in this paper, I have not mentioned the number of people I have interviewed, but approximately I have interviewed 61 people because I have covered Chamba district, but the one or two people I have visited in every village which I have visited. So the people number of people is 61.
Okay, thank you.
I think this is very relevant question, Dr. Sumit, and it could have been more better. I think your presentation is very good, methodically.
It is still going on, and because duration is less, na 21 to 22. I'm still doing this.
If you are still doing this work, it would be better if you will come up with a spatial distribution of your plants. You need to locate all these medicinal plants, what is their location, and if you will associate with with the climate, with the altitude, and the people using these plants, because I think these plants have commercial value also. If you will identify and if you will assess their commercial value, it can help the local economy also.
Definitely, sir. Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
So, Mr. Teiborlang, are you ready? Teiborlang is not there. So next is
No, sir, I am here. Sorry, sir. But I am struggling with my laptop.
Don't worry, don't worry. You will get success within 10-15 minutes. So I call upon Baharul Alom. Baharul Alom, Government Model College, Borkhola, Assam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Working on horticulture-based livelihood opportunities in Himachal Pradesh.
Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay, thank you so much. A very good morning to all the dignitaries joined in this session, respected chairperson, co-chairperson, and all the presenters and all those who have joined this session. Myself, Dr. Baharul Alom Laskar, Assistant Professor and Head, Department of Economics, Government Model College, Borkhola, Cachar, Assam. Now I am going to present my PPT. I'm going to share my screen. Is my PPT visible, sir?
Yeah, yes, visible.
Okay, thank you so much. So my today's topic of Himachal Pradesh, an analytical study of recent trends and future prospects. Now, just begin with the introduction of this topic. We know the global scenario is keep on changing in the present time, and in this context, the most vital issues like food, nutrition, and livelihood security are the matter of great concern to each and every human being across the globe to strengthen human, social, and economic development. Of total population lives in rural area in the state. Horticulture plays a unique role in the state economy of Himachal Pradesh by improving the income of the major workforce participants, ensuring their livelihood security, and enhancing the standard of living. Conducive climatic conditions in Himachal Pradesh offers enough livelihood opportunities to the people of the state in terms of cultivating fruits, especially apple and subtropical fruit grown in warm and temperate and subtropical region, as per the economic survey report mentioned. So, this study has been undertaken in the context of mountain livelihood opportunities in Himachal Pradesh, which focuses on the current trends in horticulture produce, along with the income generating opportunities in this sector, with an aim to emphasize on the leading of present outcome of the sector and the future potentialities. So these two are my basic objectives of the study. First one is to analyze the trends and patterns in the annual fruit productivity and to investigate the growth rate per annum of the same in the Himachal Pradesh during the time period mentioned. And the second objective is to examine the status and to investigate the annual growth rate of state income generated from fruit productivity in Himachal Pradesh during 2010-11 to 2020-21. So this is the data source and research methodology. The present study is purely based on secondary sources of data collected from official website of Department of Horticulture, Government of HP, mentioned here, and other data sources used in the study are draft horticulture policy, statistical yearbook of Himachal Pradesh, and others. Now, the analysis of the data is basically with the help of descriptive statistics, graphic presentation, tabular presentation like this. An annual percentage growth rate has been calculated of fruit production, annual revenue growth as per the as usual formula that we use. I have mentioned in this here. Now, coming straight forward to the analysis of data part without delay, this uh, table one is showing patterns of annual fruit productivity in Himachal Pradesh in million tons. Now, if we look closely at this table, we see that the time period taken into consideration in the study is from 2010-11 to 2020-21. And a group of, fruits have been enlisted here. One is specially apple, the state fruit of Himachal Pradesh. Then other tropical fruits like almond, then walnut, peanut, hazelnut, like this. Nuts and dry fruits, citrus, and other subtropical fruits, uh, orange, malta, and others like this. And last column is showing the total food productivity per year. Now, if we start from the beginning, 2010-11, marked in the red, we see that the production of apple is 86.8%. Out of last column, that is 100% of fruit productivity we consider. Then we see that contribution of production of apple is 86%, whereas other tropical fruit contributes productivity 5.97%, almost 6%. Nuts and dry fruits, very negligible 0.35%, citrus 2.979%, and other subtropical fruits 4.09%. Now, in the next year, 2011-12, we see that apple has been dominated in the productivity zone, but it has decreased from 86.8% to 73.7%. But other tropical fruits has been increased by in 8.36%. Nuts and dry fruits has been increased a little bit. Citrus also increased a little bit. Other subtropical fruits has been increased 10.48% drastically. So, if we look at this table, we find that the productivity of apple has experienced ups and downs. In the year, if we look 2013-14, we see that productivity of apple has been again increased to 85.27%, whereas other tropical fruits has been decreased. Nuts and dry fruit has been decreased. Citrus productivity has been decreased, and other tropical fruits also drastically, decreased over time. Now, with these ups and downs, if we comes to the very recent years, 2020-21, we find out of total food productivity, apple has been contributed 77% almost. Other tropical fruit 6.51, nuts and dry in a very negligible 0.75, citrus 5.33, and other subtropical fruits 10.8. Now, this picture, I mean, the main gist of this table is just showing that this pattern of annual fruit in Himachal Pradesh has been experiencing a huge ups and downs, which is a symbol of instability, and it is not a good sign for the state economy where agriculture dependent percentage is more. Now, coming to the next, table, whatever I have discussed, that productivity of apple, the state fruit of Himachal Pradesh, occupies the leading position among the fruit categories. It contributes almost 75% and even more in total food production. Other tropical fruits, a single digit productivity. Nuts and dry fruits, 1% to total productivity. Productivity of citrus from 2 to 6% in the study period. Other subtropical fruits relatively higher compared to other fruits of categories. Now, if we look at this figure one, this is just a trend line showing the productivity of different types of fruits over the years. We see that the total productivity has been marked with, blue, and that productivity trend of apple has been that is the total productivity green, and that apple productivity line is by blue. We find that the major part, almost nearly 80 to 90%, whatever we have discussed in the table, is the total productivity trend is contributing by the production of apple. But if we look at the trend line, which lies far, far below, almost at the bottom level, the productivity of other tropical fruits, nuts, and dry fruits are very negligible. So this picture, along with the previous table, clearly indicating the fact that the productivity of different fruits are experiencing huge instability in the state of Himachal Pradesh. Of course, the state capital, fruits, that is the, state fruit of Himachal Pradesh, apple is contributing a very, very higher percentage in this era. Now, coming to our table two, this table has been calculated with the aim to show the annual growth rate in food production in Himachal Pradesh, which will have a great insight, a close insight into this total topic and this area. Now, the time period is same from 2010-11 to 2020-21. We see that the annual growth rate of production of different type of fruits. We see that in case of apple, in the year 2011-12, it experienced negative growth rate because of the lesser production in 2011-12 compared to 2010-11. Now, in this way, we see, if we consider the growth rate of apple, we find 2012 and 13 it is 49.94%. Then again it increased to 79.13%. Again, it is negative growth rate of 15.37%. And in this way, if we find in the very recent year, of course, in 2019 and 20, production of apple was very much high, almost 94%. But in the year 2020-21, again, it has experienced a negative growth rate, which is very recent, as per our recent data, minus 32.74%. And if we look at the other categories of fruits, we also find negativity.
Baharul sir, try to conclude, please. Try to conclude your presentation.
Yes. Okay, sir. Now, this table is showing us the annual rate of state income from fruit production of in the state of Himachal Pradesh. We find that here in this category, we find that the income rate, growth rate from this food production is also experienced negative growth rate in recent years, 2021. So owing to the fact that the productivity has been experienced much ups and downs and instability. Now, coming to very precisely conclusions and policy suggestions, it is found that the annual productivity of horticultural produce, especially in case of fruits, and the resultant income generated from the said sector is mainly and primarily influenced by the production of apple in Himachal Pradesh. It is noteworthy that although the contribution of other fruits in strengthening the sector is very less, but these fruits not only provides food security, rather provides the scope of earning as well to the people. The matter of concern is that in recent times, it has been found that
the productivity of apple has been drastically fall, and so as to have tremendous impact on annual state income and in turn on livelihood of people in the state. The recent trends in horticulture sector indicates unhealthy and inefficient management and practices with ample future prospects of livelihood earning. If the causes behind such deterioration in productivity and income per annum is investigated and resolved. Though it is a descriptive study at the preliminary stage, it is suggested that government must take immediate steps to find out the recent downfall in the horticulture production in Himachal Pradesh and innovate the horticulture sector in modern scientific line to ensure sustainable livelihood in this sector. Moreover, the common masses, including farmers, must also undertake necessary steps to strengthen the major contributing sector in overall development of the state. Now, very simply, last part, the limitation and future scope of the study. The study has the limitation in the context of partial intervention in the fruit segment of the horticulture sector and the overall state level analysis. Thus, future research has the scope to conduct studies at the district level in particular and in the context of India as a whole to understand the status of the sector along with finding the causes behind the recent deteriorating performance in this sector. So these are my references I have used. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Baharul. So, if anyone has question from Baharul, you can ask the question, please. So, Baharul, I have one questions to you. Although you have mentioned in your limitations that I think within state differentials need to be investigated. And second thing is the productivity you are using. I think that is not appropriate term. If you look into the very definition of the term productivity, is the data that you have at your hand that deals with the production basically. It is not productivity.
Okay.
Productivity includes the main agriculture produce as well as the byproduct also.
Okay, sir. I will
If you
rectify
could
the
use
same.
term
And
production.
thank you.
And
Thank you so much, sir, for the suggestion.
one more important thing, because whenever we deal with the agricultural crops in the Himachal Pradesh, because these are weather dependent, so it is very difficult to uh, minimize the inter-annual fluctuations, whether it is acreage, whether it is production, or whether it is yield. You will see if you look into your data in 2010, the contribution
Yeah.
of apple crop was 86%, and in the year 2019 it was again same, almost 85%, although it declined in the year
Yeah.
2020 and 21 to 77%. So it's very difficult to estimate. So the another approach, if you want to, for example, investigate the trends, you should compute the
Yeah.
trinium average instead of taking 1 year data. If you will compute the
Yeah.
trinium average of different, for example, periods, you will get a different picture and the best trend line to
Yes,
estimate
sir.
whether the state is marching on the right path or not.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your suggestions.
So I think there, Teiborlang
Yes, sir.
sir.
I am ready. I am ready now, sir.
Yes, please go ahead, sir.
Is my
Please.
screen visible? I'm ready now, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Your screen is visible,
Your
but
screen
your
is not
presentation
visible.
is not.
Oh my God! And what happened?
You
Let
can
me
take
try
technical
one.
help from someone if someone is there who has some
Sir,
idea.
it is. Let me share now. I think this is visible now.
No, no, no. Only screen is visible.
Screen is
Your
visible,
presentation
your
is not visible.
presentation is not visible.
Okay, sir, you go ahead first with others. Okay, let me.
I hope, sir, you open your PPT. You are only just showing your screen. You go where your PPT is located and then open. It will automatically visible. Try to this.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Open the PPT, then it will be automatically visible. Thank you.
Anyhow, we move further, I would like to call upon Vedyanti Bagal and Kakli Majumdar. Vedyanti Bagal and Kakli Majumdar, who would be speaking on export potential of fresh and dry fruits, a study of Jammu and Kashmir.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Yes, please go ahead, please.
Yes, sir, I'm just presenting.
Teiborlang, by that time you can take help from someone else who can assist you.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, please.
Okay, sir. Hello. Yes, okay, man, I know. Yeah, I know now. I know it's already come out. Now it's only left to share. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Vidyanti, and I'm doing my master's in economics from Sri Mata Vaishno Devi University. And it's my honor to be among each one of you today to present my paper on the topic of immense significance, export potential of fresh fruits and dry fruits, a study of JNK, which I have done under the supervision of Dr. Kakli Majumdar, who is an associate professor in Sri Mata Vaishno Devi University. JNK is known for its breathtaking landscape, rich cultural heritage, and most notably, its production of fresh fruits and dry fruits. From juicy apples to delicious apricot to walnuts and aromatic saffron, this region is filled with wide varieties of fresh and dry fruits that has captured attention of both domestic and international market. And the favorable agroclimate condition and fertile land makes JNK suitable for cultivation of various horticulture crops. Also, according to an economic survey, the fresh fruits and the dry fruits, they contribute like more than 90% of the contribution in the horticulture sector is of the fresh fruits and the dry fruits. Also, the Govt dry fruit is expected to grow at a CAGR of 5.3% between 2020 and 2027. As we know that fresh fruits and nuts, they are important source of dietary fiber, vitamins, and minerals, and eating them reduces the risk of various chronic diseases like heart attacks, cancer, and diabetes. And as the people are getting more aware, as the consumer awareness is rising about the health benefits, so the dry fruits, so their demand is also increasing, and the increased exports will help Jammu and Kashmir in the following ways. First of all, is the employment generation. As we all know that the horticulture industry is labor intensive, and if there will be increase in exports, then it can create new opportunities for local residents and can improve the standard of living of many people in the state. Also, it will help in economic development as horticulture is a major source of income for many farmers in the rural communities in Jammu and Kashmir. And thirdly, improved infrastructure. As the exports will increase, it will require many development in better infrastructure like transportation network, storage facilities, and processing plants, and it can help improve the overall infrastructure in the state and also benefit other sectors. Now, then also branding and recognition. As we all know that Jammu and Kashmir is known for its high quality horticulture products, especially Kashmiri apples and saffron. So if there will be increase in exports, it will help to build the state's brand and reputation in the global market, and it will lead to increased recognition and demands for its products. So, like after doing the research, quite a literature review, we found that there was lack of up-to-date market research, and also there was limited research on the relationship between the export and the production. So, the main objective of the study is to do the trend analysis of exports for both the fresh fruits and the dry fruits in Jammu and Kashmir, and also to find out the co-integration of exports and its determinants. Here it is production for fresh and dry fruits in Jammu and Kashmir. So our hypothesis, or first objective null hypothesis, is that there is no significant impact of time on fresh fruit and dry fruits export. And second objective null hypothesis is that there is no co-integration and long-run equilibrium relationship between exports of fresh fruits and dry fruits and production of fresh fruits and dry fruits. So the data is secondary and has been taken from various government official websites like Directorate of Economics and Statistics JNK. And we have used the model like simple regression, Johansson co-integration test, and vector error correction model to find the co-integration between the variables. So firstly, we'll talk in the graph. We can see that from the year 1974 to 2019, the exports of fresh foods are given. So the overall trend is increasing with many fluctuation. From the year, like in the 1974, the exports were 1,43,000 hectare, 1,43,000 metric tons, and then eventually from 1974 to 1980, they gradually increased, and in 1980 it reached to 3,80,000 metric tons, and in the years 1980 to 1990, they continued to rise and surpassing 7 lakh units in the late 1980s. And the period between the 1990 and 2000, it witnessed quite like fluctuations. And in the years of 2000 to 2010, they have there's a notable increase in export volume, and it has reached a new peak of 10,85,000 units. And also, there was another peak year, which was 2019, where their export was 19 lakh 57,000. And fluctuation in the export volume, it can be observed throughout the graph, indicating the influence of various factors on fruit export industry in Jammu and Kashmir. So to understand the relationship between the time and the exports of fresh fruits, we have done regression analysis. Here, we found that time significantly impacts the exports of fresh fruits of JNK at a very high level of confidence, and there is a high degree of correlation between the time and exports of fresh fruit, and 76% of the variation in the exports of fresh fruit, it can be explained by time. Then to test the co-integration between the exports and the production of the fresh food, we have done Johansson co-integration test. Co-integration, it refers to the long-run equilibrium relationship between two or more variables, suggesting that they move together in the long run, despite some short-term fluctuation. And by looking at the results, we can see that both the trace statistics and the maximum eigenvalue statistics are greater than the critical values. There is co-integration between the variables. That is, they do exhibit normal relationship. And by looking at the normalized co-integration equation, we can say that production of the fresh foods has a positive and significant impact on the export of fresh foods in the long run. So if the production of fresh food will increase, the exports of fresh food will also increase. Then to analyze the long run dynamics and the short run dynamics, we have used vector error correction model. Here the coefficient of error correction term was negative and statistically significant, which indicates that there is a convergence from short dynamics towards long run dynamics. So the adjustment coefficient was 0.66%, which means that if there would be some short-run deviation, that then with the speed of 66%, the adjustment would be made to long-run equilibrium. And from the equation, we can get to know the short-run dynamics. It says that if there will be 1 unit change in the lag change in the export of fresh food, then it would lead to 0.46 change in the export of fresh food in the current period. Also, if there would be if there is a unit change in the lag change in the production of fresh food, it would lead to 0.58 unit change in the export of fresh food in the current period. Sorry. And from the impulse response function, we can get to know that that if there is a unit shock in the export of fresh fruit, then then the exports of fresh fruit will decrease in continuously till the fourth time period till it reaches its new equilibrium. And if there is a unit shock of production to production of fresh fruit, then it would lead to decrease in like a small decrease in the exports of fresh fruit in the one time period, but then there would be a drastic increase in the second time period in the export of fresh fruits, and then there is a gradual increase in the third and fourth time period. Now moving on to similarly moving on to the fruit market, we can say that the exports of dry fruits are like they have experienced many fluctuations over the year, and from the year 1988 the exports are increasing, but then suddenly in the year 1996 there is a downward movement in the export values. So maximum export of dry fruit has gone up to 41,000 metric tons in the year 2011. Here also the test regression analysis we have done, and the test came out significant at a 0.01 level of significance, and there is a moderate degree of positive correlation between the variables, and 16% of the variation in exports of dry fruit can be explained by the time. Also, the results of the Johnson co-integration test tells us that there is a co-integration relationship between the dry fruit exports and dry fruit production, and and if there would be increase in the production of dry fruit, it would lead to increase in the production in the exports of dry fruit. And from the vector error correction, we got to know that as the error correction was adjustment coefficient was 0.62%, it tells that any short-run deviation would be corrected with the speed of 62.18%. And from the impulse response function, here we get that if there will be a unit shock in the export of dry fruit, it would lead to fall in the export of dry fruits in first period, second period, and third period, and then it will gain its new equilibrium in the fourth period. And by looking at the response function of export of dry fruit to production of dry fruit, we get to know that that in the first time period, the export.
Please conclude your presentation.
Yes, sir. So yeah, it will rise and then rise and then eventually gain its equilibrium. So the conclusion is just the objective was to do the trend analysis of both fresh fruit and dry fruit, and find out the co-integration between the exports and production. And by using appropriate model, we found that exports of both fresh fruit and dry fruits, they are dependent on time. So the exports have long-run relationship with production of both fresh fruits and dry fruits. And the study suggests that it is important to increase investment in production to ensure sustainable growth in the exports. But the limitation of the study is that it only took one independent variable that affects the export of the fresh fruit and dry fruit, and the result of study are not generalized to other regions. And these are the references, and thank you.
Thank you, Vedanti, for a very good presentation, well-structured presentation, having almost research. Yes, anyone, if anyone has question, please.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
If anyone has any question from Vedanti. I think there is no question. Vedanti, I just would like to give two suggestions to you.
Yes, sir.
You have undertaken this study taking Jammu and Kashmir as unit of observation, means state as a unit of observation, right?
Yes, sir.
I think you need to conduct this study at either at the district level or the tehsil level. That will also strengthen your study, and other determinants that you mentioned in your limitations also need to be investigated.
Yes, sir. I'll take into account these things. Thank you, sir.
Good presentation. Yes, Teiborlang, your...
Yes, sir. I am ready now.
Yeah, your presentation is visible. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so this is the topic is using medicinal plants for promoting local livelihoods in Himachal Pradesh. Lessons from the communities of Meghalaya. So this heading is given by Sachin sir, and I really thanks to him. Actually, I don't really know how to frame the heading. Okay, this is co-authors, me and Suresh Kumar. So before presenting this paper, let me make it clear that these medicinal plants that I'm going to present is about nature cure. So now that means that we have to use it directly, not really a proper medicine. So now we can use this directly on any kind of ailment. So now to speed up the process, I think I have to go straight to medicinal plants. So this is the method of study, qualitative study and descriptive research design. And method of data collection is primary and secondary and unstructured focus interview, and samples is deliberate sampling, and data collected exclusively from the traditional medicinal practitioners of Meghalaya. Objective of this study is to discuss the meaning of nature cure, to explain the uses of medicinal plants, and to open for further research. And see, this is here the discussion is about the hemp. Actually, the picture is given down below. So this is, okay, hemp is a plant available in abundance. It grows anywhere in Himachal Pradesh, especially in the rich nutrient soil. Use is how it is used. It is used to treat rheumatism, pain relief, treatment for itching or scabies. This plant is very effective. They say it can be used for cancer treatment also. So part of the plant's uses are leaves along with the seeds. The plant matures in autumn season. That is the best time to use. How to use it? After grinding the plants, rub it in the affected area, cover it with the leaf or leaves in order to prevent it from drying out, and tie it firmly. When to use it is before bed. So this is the plant, the hemp plant that we are using, that I'm presenting now. Okay, next is Ricinicus. This is scientific name. This is also violently available. It is used for rheumatisms and joint pains. Parts of plant use leaves. How to use: warm the leaves near the fire or keep it in the affected area. Repeat the process as long as you can bear the heat. The plant can also be grounded and rub it in the affected area. So when to use at any time. Okay, this is the plant that we are talking about. Okay, next is berry and guava. So this is very common. Guava is a domesticated, berry is wild, thorny wild plant. So there are two types of berries, the red and yellow berries. Okay, it can be found in Dharamchala and Hamirpur town. Guava is domesticated. Okay, and how to use and uses. Sorry, the fruits of the plants are edible. They are also used for treatment of diarrhea, dysentery. They are the most effective medicine so far. These plants have the ability to uproot the sickness permanently. Parts of the plant uses the young leaves and the shoots along the young guava leaves. How to use: boil both the plants for an hour and drink its juice. When to use: keep on drinking as much as you can. So this is the plants, guava and berries. Okay, next is plantain leaves. Plantain leaves is not common plant in Himachal. It is seen in summer hill of Shimla and the leeward side of Hamirpur town. It grows as weed in the backyard or near the drain. Uses: this plant is consumed as vegetables in Kashmir. Its leaves are bigger compared to Himachal or Meghalaya. It is the most effective medicine to clot the blood, internal injury, and to relieve pain. It is used also to treat cancer. Parts of the plant use whole plants, including seeds and tentacles, not the roots. Okay, these are the plants, plantain leaf. Okay, only this much. Thank you. Hello.
Okay, so audience is waiting for the lessons and the name of the communities that you are supposed to talk. You wanted to share some lessons, no, from the communities of Meghalaya?
Yes, sir. These are the plants that is similar to Meghalaya as well as in Himachal.
Okay, you are using a term that is deliberate sampling in your, methodology.
Yes.
So, have you come across? Is it the real term? Do
Sir,
we
I
use
have
the
been,
term deliberate sampling or purposive sampling or convenient sampling?
sir, see, I have been traveling to this, no, to to Shimla and this Hamirpur town. Traveling. I have seen these plants, no, but it's like
No, I
a.
am asking that is deliberate sampling a type of sampling, or is there some other name mentioned in the social science literature? Is it purposive sampling or convenient sampling or some judgment sampling, or is it deliberate sampling?
It is deliberate sampling, sir. Deliberate sampling. Sir.
Mm. Okay, but you just have a look into the research methodology books also. Can we use the term deliberate sampling or not?
Okay, sir. Maybe I'm not really good in that, but okay, I'll.
Anyhow, thank you very much, Teiborlang.
Thank you, sir.
Next speaker is Diksha Swaroop. Diksha,
Yes, sir, I'm here.
go ahead.
Sir, yes, sir.
She would be talking on enhancing climate change adaptation and food security through community-based sustainable agriculture, a case study of Kalpa Tehsil, Kinnaur district.
Yes, sir. Sir, is it visible? Okay, thank you, sir. Good morning, in fact, good afternoon to all the dignitaries and all the participants present here. And I'm honored to present the research study on enhancing the climate change, adaptation, and livelihood security through community based sustainable agriculture case study of Kalpa Tehsil. Firstly, I want to give the overview of the study. Basically, this is a scientific study which focuses on the effectiveness of the community based sustainable agriculture as an approach to enhance the climate change adaptation and livelihood security. Basically, we all know that climate change is not a new phenomena, it is a natural phenomena which has been uh, taking place over the past 6,50,000 years back. And
Diksha, put
basically,
your presentation in full screen mode, please.
Acha, okay.
Or slideshow mode. Yeah.
Sir, 1 second. Sir, is it okay?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So basically, the climate fluctuates because of the variations in the energy equilibrium of the planet. And when this energy equilibrium changes, the climate changes. And we all know that this climate change, because we are witnessing the 4.0 industrial revolution stage, and since the first industrial revolution stage, the anthropogenic activities have increased in accelerated rate, which has resulted into the retreat of glaciers at a very faster rate. Therefore, a lot of researches have been done on the climate change. Talking about the mountain ecosystem, we all know that mountain ecosystem is one of the most fragile ecosystem and is vulnerable to the climate change. Hence, the impact of the climate change on the mountain ecosystem are both profound and alarming. For example, a rising temperature have led to the retreat of the glaciers, and which resulted into the, what we can say, disrupting the delicate water cycle and affecting the downstream communities that rely on the consistent supply of water. It is just an example for one instance. Okay, so my study area is Kalpa Tehsil. Kalpa Tehsil, it is a tehsil located in Kinnaur district of Himachal Pradesh. It is a small town situated at an elevation approximately 2960 meters above sea level. It is one of the 6 tehsils of Kinnaur district of Himachal Pradesh with 84 villages. Kalpa is a region of significant ecological and cultural importance, and its vulnerability to the impacts of climate change poses significant threat to the region's natural resources and the livelihoods of its inhabitants. Basically, when we talk
Diksha,
about...
Kalpa is not down.
Yes, sir?
Kalpa is not down. Kalpa is not a town as per the census of India details. You are mentioning that it is a town.
Oh, shit.
I think
I'm sorry.
it is.
Okay. Sir, it's a tehsil.
No issue. So what? Anyhow, go ahead, please.
Okay, sorry. Okay, the if we talk about Kinnaur, we all know that talking about Kinnaur, we only show that horticulture is taking place. It is also known about the apple orchards, apple cultivation, and its production. So the primary source of livelihood in Kalpa Tehsil is basically agriculture and horticulture. The fertile soil, favorable climate, and the availability of water from the Satluj River makes it suitable for growing high quality apples. Apart from the apples, and other crops cultivated in the region is included like rajma, peas, beans, barley, and wheat. Basically, for the purpose of the study, 6 villages have been made as the area of interest, namely the Pangi village, Kothi village, Kalpa, and Rikong. Pangi village, Kothi, Kashmir, Kalpa, Rikongpeo. The methodology which has been used as a survey questionnaire, which was designed in such a way that it could capture the perspective of different stakeholders, including farmers, herders, and vulnerable groups. Interview guides was also used, and it was designed in such a way for the decision making processes and resource management and adaptation strategies. Focus group discussion guides was also employed to encourage participants to share their experiences and perspective and challenges related to the climate change adaptation and livelihood security. An observation checklist was also developed to record all the physical as well as environmental changes that has resulted in climate change and adaptation measures implemented by local communities in Kalpa Tehsil. Basically, this study has been done on the basis of community based approach and the possible suggestions also, which was also given by themselves only. The sampling method involved the 180 respondents from 6 villages were considered as a sample of communities for the study. Data was collected by the fieldwork, which was conducted to collect data using survey questionnaires and interviews, focus group discussions, and observations. Both the qualitative and quantitative techniques for the analysis of data to identify patterns, themes, which both the method were used, qualitative also and the quantitative also. Participatory approaches was also employed where it involved local people and stakeholders in the research processes, which included designs of research questions, data collection, and data analysis. Coming on to the topic of results and discussion, meteorological parameters has one of the most important parameters in weather forecasting since the ancient times. यहाँ पे भी वही चीजें ही चल रही थी. On asking to the respondents, according to the respondents' perception on climate change, 75% have noticed that there is no change in climate. Actually, this ये ऐसा नहीं है कि उन्हें क्लाइमेट चेंज उन्होंने कभी नोटिस नहीं किया, पर हाँ ये भी हो सकता है कि they notice no change in climate. This could imply that they don't have that climate education awareness. Due to lack of awareness on climate education, it can happen that they don't know the logic behind why the climate is changing. It is like सब ठीक तो है, हम यहाँ रह लेते हैं खुशी से. It's like that. The majority of the respondents agreed to the climate change, which were basically dependent on the agriculture for the source of their livelihood. They also observed the changes in duration and intensity of the sunlight. Changes in temperature and rainfall pattern have also led to an increase in invasive plant species, which can harm the native crops. All these changes were noticed by the local communities who were directly dependent on the agriculture and its allied activities for their livelihood. The crop production, the growth rate, pattern of irrigating their land, delay in sowing and harvesting their crops, these were some impact of the change in climatic patterns. Farmers have started for this reason, the farmers have started to shift towards horticulture crops such as apples, which are less water intensive and more profitable. Kiwis and plums, livestock such as Nepali ox is not being found. Yak, that was the local cattle, has been replaced with Jersey cows. We have asked to one of the respondents, he was like, पहले यहाँ पे याक मिलती थी, पर अब लोग जर्सी गाय रखने लग गए हैं. All this community-based perception is leading to the theory of climate change in the Kalpa Tehsil, that is influencing the traditional agriculture pattern and pushing local communities towards the developing adaptive measures to deal with the variations in elements of climate. As an agrarian community, people of Kalpa Tehsil are prone to the impact of climate change. अब यहाँ से प्रोसेस स्टार्ट हो जाता है हमारी अडेप्टिव स्ट्रैटेजीज का. यहाँ से बेसिकली जो हमारे क्लाइमेट चेंज हो रहे थे, जो टेम्परेचर हमारे इंक्रीज हुए हैं, उनसे जो एप्पल कल्टीवेशन हो रहा था, अकॉर्डिंग टू देम कि एप्पल्स के कलर और लाइट हो गए हैं. This have reduced sweetness in this because of this long duration of the sunlight. They were like that. For instance, they were telling like that. Climate change was also causing these glaciers to melt at an accelerated rate, leading to reduced water availability for agriculture. Talking about the adaptation strategies, one of the most prevalent adaptation strategies which were taking place was the diversification of income sources, which played a key role in the sustainable livelihood security in the scene where crop failure occurs. Communities were diversifying their income sources by engaging in multiple activities such as non-farm activities like handicrafts, as we all can see in the photographs, beekeeping and ecotourism. Ecotourism is now developing in Kalpa Tehsil at very faster rate, I can say. The communities are shifted towards horticulture as they find it more profitable. The government in Himachal Pradesh also promotes organic farming. One thing is to notice, it is important to notice here that we talk about organic farming and yes, organic farming and etc. Actually, वहाँ पर उनके पास वो ही एक ऐसा ऑप्शन है that in terms of scientific language we know it as an organic farming. पर उनके पास ऑप्शन ही यही है कि उनके इसके अलावा और कोई नहीं है तरीका जिससे वो एग्रीकल्चर कर सकें. It was basically मतलब every family has a farm at a certain elevation which was totally dedicated to the apple orchards, and the income generated by the apple orchards were used for their production in their personal farm which were used to feed themselves and their family. It was like that. The possible suggestions which included which was given by the local people as one of the major problems which I thought is, as far as the apple cultivation was concerned, it formed as a part of running market. But there was a lack of storage facilities in Kalpa, which ultimately results into the destruction of the apple for the leftover production. This was the major problem which was prevalent there. As we all can see, the cow dung and their farms. Basically, for their farms, they use only cow dung, and for the horticulture production, for the apple cultivation, the government provides pesticides and insecticides. Government also send their agents and employees to just check that cultivation that it is doing well or not. So वहाँ से उन्हें जो प्रॉफिट मिलता था वो अपने लाइवलीहुड के लिए यूज करते थे. उनका ये था. The second major problem which was there, the price of chemical fertilizer was increased, while the cost price of apples was the same, which resulted into decrease in net profit for the local people. They were also like talking about the suggestion. They were also like हमारा मनरेगा स्कीम में जब हमारे क्रॉप फेलियर होते हैं तो जो मनरेगा स्कीम चलते हैं हम जिसमें इन्वॉल्व होते हैं वो थोड़े टाइम के लिए ही चलती है. उस टाइम स्पैन को बढ़ाना चाहिए ताकि हमारे साल भर का लाइवलीहुड पूरा हो जाए. कि this suggestion was actually given by a lady who was there in Kashmir village. Thank you. This was all about the Kalpa Tehsil. And yes, thank you so much.
Thank you, Diksha. Presentation is open for discussion. If anyone has any question from Diksha, you can ask, please.
One quick suggestion to Diksha.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Diksha, don't use slides with all in caps. Yeah, it's detrimental for the readability of the text. So we'd advise you don't use this. Yeah.
Sorry, sir. I consider this from now onwards.
And another suggestion, Diksha, to you is you are saying that you have used both the quantitative as well as the qualitative approaches in your study.
Yes, sir.
But you didn't mention any quantitative data.
Sir, actually, it was more inclined towards the qualitative data.
But then you should not mention that you are using the quantitative data. Okay, if it was the qualitative study, how many people you have surveyed? What was the response of the inhabitants of the area or the respondents that you approached? And the questions you are using, you said that you have used the questionnaire also. So what were the questions? At least the percentage of the people responding to a particular question need to be mentioned also. It will strengthen your study. Otherwise, it appears it is very, general kind of study. Everyone knows all these things.
Okay.
So what is the take of the researcher?
Okay.
The kind of methodology that you are mentioning, plus your results and discussion, I think there must be organic relationship between the two.
Okay, sir. I'll consider this point. Thank you so much for this.
No, this is very, very important because since you are working with Pandey sir, he's my friend also.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have the second last speaker, Shivani Abrol Nisha Kumari Sanjeev Kumar from GDC Chamba, who would be talking on agriculture pattern and practices in Kukti village of Barmor. Shivani or Nisha or Sanjeev. Okay, yes. Shivani, you are not audible, but your presentation is visible. Go ahead, please.
You need to make it full screen as well.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yes, you are audible.
Sir,
And
very
brief.
warm.
Be brief, please. Just discuss your introduction, objectives, database, methods of study, and results and discussion. Please go ahead.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Very warm greetings to one and all. So I'm Shivani Abrol presenting my presentation on the agriculture pattern and practices in the Kukti village of Tehsil Bharmor. So Kukti is the remotest village, as everybody knows, and the Kukti is very famous for its wildlife sanctuary in Himachal Pradesh. Kukti sanctuary is the second largest sanctuary in the state of Himachal Pradesh, and on the west side of Kukti sanctuary there is Tundha sanctuary, a forest corridor. High altitude Himalayan flora species have made this sanctuary their home, including the endangered Himalayan Thar. There are plenty of water resources here, and many of them originate from the glaciers. Kukti Wildlife Sanctuary also
Keep on changing your slides also.
Okay, sir.
Shivani,
The Himalayan. Yes, sir.
स्लाइड चेंज नहीं हो रही है आपकी.
नहीं हो रही है सर.
नहीं.
अभी हो रही है.
नहीं. सिर्फ
नेक्स्ट ये दिख रही है सर.
नहीं. I think at least to me it is not visible.
नेक्स्ट अभी दिख नहीं रही नेक्स्ट स्लाइड्स.
नहीं.
ऐसा क्यों से? Just sir, wait a moment.
Yes.
Now, sir, it is now. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
So the major attraction of the Kukti sanctuary is the Himalayan Thar. As everybody knows about it, the last home of Himalayan Thar, which is the largest ungulate related to the wildlife goats. Their herbivorous animals have small heads with large eyes and small pointed ears, and are 3 to 4.5 feet long.
Hello. Put
yes,
your
sir.
presentation in full screen
okay,
mode, please.
Sir, here I can we can see the lower Kukti hamlet, lower Kukti, and here this is the upper Kukti village.
आपकी स्लाइड्स भी मूव नहीं कर रही हैं. सुनिए, just listen me patiently, please. आपकी स्लाइड्स मूव नहीं कर रही हैं और अपनी प्रेजेंटेशन को फुल स्क्रीन मोड में डालिए.
Sir, might be there is some network issue then.
अच्छा, okay. चलिए,
Hmm.
agriculture patterns and practices. Okay, please.
Sir, it is visible now.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Sir, it is visible now.
हाँ जी.
Okay, sir. So the total land holding dedicated towards various practices, the major occupation of this village is agriculture and horticulture. According to the survey, the majority of population is engaged in the agriculture and horticulture. There are less people who are involved in the government and private sectors. Agriculture is the primary occupation of the people, and about 52% of its population resides in rural areas. The total area is 72.9 hectares, out of which 51.42% land is under agriculture. 10.37% land is under horticulture, and 14.68% land is pastures, and 22.53% is barren land, which is, and the
Please,
0.98%.
Shivani, keep on changing your slides.
uh, so the modes of plowing the fields in this area is mostly the maximum the wooden plow which the people is used in that area, which is in local language we called it hull. And the reason why the people is using the traditional tools in this area, because of the topography. Topography is one of the geographical region which is affecting the use of tools in the hilly areas. it is difficult it is
शिवानी
difficult
मैम,
to use.
आपकी प्रेजेंटेशन जो है बिल्कुल स्टिल है. आपकी स्लाइड चेंज नहीं हो रही है.
Sir, I'm changing it here, but I don't know what is the reason behind it. Might be there is some network issue or something like that.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Just, I'll present it again, sir. Now, sir, is it visible?
Yes, please. Yeah. Now you are in the right track. Please go ahead.
Okay, sir. Topography is the major issue, and why the people are using traditional tools. Bulls have their two functions. One is for plowing, and another is for using cow dung, which is very useful as a fertilizer. So according to the farmers, they don't want to use any new techniques because otherwise their animals are useless. Agriculture and technology in that area, the most of the people, they are using 94%, they are using wooden hulls, and the 3% of the people, they are using hoisey sticks for their farming. So they are not using very latest technology in that area. The reason behind it, the lack of awareness. I have found that the people are have lack of education, and because of that they are not using any latest and modern techniques in that area. And also they have a perception that by using the modern tools their animals become useless. The fertilizers which the people of that area is used is the mostly the people, they use the cow dung for the they use cow dung as a fertilizer in that area. So mostly they, because there is a lot of animals, they are rearing the animals, so that's why they are using this fertilizers. They are not using any chemical fertilizers in that area. The main source for irrigation purpose for their in that area is for the agriculture. The people of that area, as in Himachal also, the people are dependent on the natural rainfall. So 94% people are dependent on the natural rainfall for irrigation, and only 2% of the people, they are taking water from pools that is found in that area. Main source of livelihood in that area, the people are dependent on their livelihood mostly on agriculture, and 55% people are dependent on agriculture for their income, and only 16% are off farm income, like for some in some fields they do some local work, and 14% people, they are taking their livelihood from livestock income. As we can see that livelihood livestock information about that area, that 34% people they are rearing goats, and 27% people they are having sheep in their houses, and domestic cows, that 12% for their livestock. नीचे नहीं करनी थी ना, चेंज नहीं हो रही है slide. So the yak which is found, which is called as duzo, in that area it is a hybrid between the yak and the domestic cattle. The word duzo is technically referred to the male hybrid, which is the farmers they use that in for plowing purpose, and the female it is known as dasmo, which is used for the milk purposes. People of that area used to make silage or beta for cattle in the winter season. Winter is very long there, so they don't get any green grass during this season. So that's why they make this silage for the winter season. The major problems which I have found the people they have faced in that area, that is irrigation problem. The main problem is irrigation facilities, due to which agriculture output is low. And the problem is another problem is lack of good seeds. The farmer who are rich and can buy good seeds, but the other farmers which those who are poor, they can't buy good seeds. As per the opinion of the people of that area, a very little help is provided by the government in this regard, which is not sufficient. The problem regarding manures and fertilizers, that today also the farmers of the village are using the oldest method of the farming. Even at present stage they are using traditional manures, that is cow dung. Reason could be people are not having money to buy the chemical fertilizers. Few studies have shown that people living over there have changed their cropping pattern from cultivating local cultivators to the more remunerative crops. This change is more apparent in case of cereals and plantation crops. The apple cultivation has diffused along valley slopes. It also accounts for about 3.97% of the total cropped area. Cereals, which include fullen and brace, together occupied about one-fourth of the cropped area, but with the passage of time, these inferior food grains have been replaced by the pulses. Thus, the cereals dominated cropping pattern in Kokti area has undergone transformation. More remunerative crash crops, namely Rajma, Urad, and apple, have come up by late 90s. This has happened despite the fact that Kukti area is relatively inaccessible region of Bhamor Tehsil. For the improvement of agriculture pattern and practices, it can be suggested that road connectivity can be improved, that the latest technology of plowing fields, fertilizers, hybrid variety of seeds of different commercial crops can reach there. Thank you, sir. This is all about my presentation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shivani. If anyone has any questions,
due to some technical issue, I couldn't show it properly. Sorry for that, sir.
No problem, please. Shivani, we as a country are advocating that we should go for the green farming and natural farming, or
yes, sir,
sometimes organic farming, whatever. And you are saying that people in that area, if they are engaged with this green practices, so what is the harm if they are using the?
No, sir, there is no harm. I have been to that place.
How do you view this statement? Should be, yeah.
Sir, green farming is good and organic farming is also good, but people are not getting that much productivity. The people in that area is still poor.
Did you compare the productivity? You are saying that agricultural output is low. Did you compare the productivity of that particular area with the whole Tehsil or the Himachal or some other progressive areas? Did you compute it? Did you compare?
No,
and
sir.
Did you interview the people? Are they happy?
No, sir, I have been to that places. So a majority of the people, they are using the traditional things, and they found difficulty to fulfill their livelihood. So that's why this is the reason I think about. The major problem which I have found that the road connectivity is low. So that's why it is difficult to connect it with the rest of the world.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Shivani.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So we have the last speaker, Nitika Agarwal. She would be speaking on digital transformation in agriculture for livelihood promotion in rural India. Nitika Agarwal. Are you there, ma'am?
The message in the text box that network issue in this side.
Okay.
Network in this side by Nitika Agarwal.
So it means if she wants to share her findings, I think we can wait for. If there is some technical problem, then I think we will ask the organizers to give her a chance in the second session also.
Yes, I think this is a good suggestion, sir. Nitika, based on suggestion of Thakur sir, I guess if you are not able to connect because of connectivity issue, and if then it's, I think you should come in the next session that will start at 1:30, if it is all right with you. Or another option I'm proposing, if it is feasible, you may not keep your video on. You
Yes.
can make an audio presentation instead. So I'm not also sure whether we are audible to Nitika. Nitika, can you say something so that we know that you are listening to us?
I think, sir, she's not there also.
Okay, so what I would suggest that before our chair, co-chair makes any concluding remark, I would request you to keep your mic, keep your camera on for, let's say, 30 seconds so that we can take a picture, and then perhaps Thakur sir can conclude. Just for 30 seconds, please. Yes, good to see you. Now we know that we were talking to human beings, not meaningless icons. Thank you. A few more. Kusumji, Shwetaji, Nishaji, Sureshji, Vedyanti, Jitanshuji. Yes. So I can see quite a few shy people like me. It's perfectly fine. Let me take a screenshot. Thank you. Sir, you can proceed.
So first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Sachin and his team for giving us a chance to co-chair a session, because Ma'am Bhawna, she has also joined us from Amity University. Ma'am, would you like to say something? Hello.
Ma'am, you need to switch your
Unmute
audio
yourself,
on, ma'am. You need to switch your
Yes.
audio on.
Sorry, sir. Yes, my fault. Thank you, Sachin, sir, for giving me a chance to be a part of your team. And I'm very happy and proud to be a part of your team. And, sir, all the presentations were fantastic. And as a rapporteur, I mean, I was half the time I was busy writing, half the time listening. But yes, the momentum was there, and my knowledge has definitely increased. Let's hope I'm able to come up to expectations during my paper presentation.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
So, because I have been a MassCom student, and this is a fairly new discipline for me. So, I'm just attempting to kind of understand and trying to make my contribution and understand. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Amlal, sir, would you like to say something, sir?
Thank you, Dr. Sir. First of all, I would like to congratulate organizers of this conference with a very relevant topic. So, but our presentations were very precise and meaningful. Sachin sir, yes, Thakur sir. But मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि हमारे जितने भी मेडिकल प्लांट्स की बात हो रही है या जितने भी हम ट्रेडिशनल एग्रीकल्चर प्रैक्टिसेस की बात कर रहे हैं उसका जितनी भी हम रिसर्च कर रहे हैं उसका सोसाइटी के लिए क्या हम इनपुट दे रहे हैं या क्या हम उसमें किस तरह से अपनी जो भी हमारी फाइंडिंग्स आ रही हैं उसका बेनिफिट जो है सोसाइटी के लिए किस तरह से हो रहा है हमें थोड़ा सा उसके बारे में भी जो है सोचना चाहिए क्यों सर
नहीं सही बोल रहे हैं आप।
क्योंकि बहुत सी मेडिकल प्लांट्स की बात कर रहे थे कि जितने भी चाहे भांग की बात कर रहे थे चाहे अदर मेडिकल प्लांट्स की बात कर रहे थे तो आज की जो रिसेंट जो जनरेशन है वो या तो हम एक जनरेशन गैप की बात करते हैं या किसी की बात करते हैं उसके कारण जो है वो उन चीजों को जो है वो आगे कैरी नहीं कर पा रहे हैं तो हमारी रिसर्च पे वो भी फोकस रहना चाहिए कि इस तरह की जितनी भी हम रिसर्च कर रहे हैं तो वो जो हमारे पास जो एक ह्यूज जो पोटेंशियलिटी है इस तरह की जो मेडिकल प्लांट्स की है या सस्टेनेबल एग्रीकल्चर से है या जितनी भी एग्रीकल्चरल सीड्स हैं जो ट्रेडिशनल एग्रीकल्चरल सीड्स हैं वो हम जो है सोसाइटीज के लिए जो है उसका बेनिफिट हो सकते हैं थैंक यू सर
थैंक यू वेरी मच सर। मुझे लग रहा है कि बहुत एक अच्छा सजेशन जो है वो डॉक्टर साहब ने दिया है कि जितने भी मेडिसिनल जो प्लांट्स हैं इनकी प्रॉपर एक डॉक्यूमेंटेशन की ज़रूरत है, इनका स्पेशल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन स्टडी करने की ज़रूरत है, इनकी क्या साइंटिफिक यूटिलिटी है, जिस प्रकार का आज जो एलोपैथी का भी एक मेडिकल अटेंशन हमें देखने को मिलती है और कमर्शियल वैल्यू क्या है, साइंटिफिक वैल्यू क्या है, तो ये सारी की सारी चीज़ें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हैं। All the 6 presentations were very good, well structured, बहुत ही सीजनड थॉट्स आप लोगों ने जो है वो यहाँ पर शेयर किए हैं और मुझे लग रहा है कि देर इज ऑलवेज अ स्कोप फॉर इम्प्रूवमेंट। वी कांट से दैट आई एम द लास्ट वर्ड एंड वट एवर आई हैव डन एंड देर इज नो स्कोप फॉर इम्प्रूवमेंट। वी शुड continue working. We should, we must establish a connect with the field and there should be a link between the whatever we are presenting as well as the ground. And we should do some, I think, good work with the communities. Now the time has come that we should start engaging deeply with the communities and we need to make our research relevant for the society, how it can be needful, how it can be relevant to the society, globally significant, इस प्रकार का काम जो है वो होने का जरूरत है। और all I congratulate all the presenters for very good presentations and I think according to the theme Dr. Sachin has been very meticulous in putting the presentation. Almost all the presentations were very much alike to each other and there was some sort of relation linkage almost all the presentations. So he has put very sincere efforts putting all the similar presentations in a single session. So thank you very much. And I also again congratulate Dr. Sachin for this very good event. So wish you all the best for your valedictory session, Sachin. And I again thank Dr. Amlal and Dr. Bhawna and all the audience for this wonderful session. Thank you one and all. Thank you very much.
We'll meet back at 1:30. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
सुनो तुमने लास्ट लाइन नहीं सुनी गुड लक टू यू सचिन maybe हेलो। हाँ जी नमस्कार। अच्छा अच्छा, मैं चला लेने के लिए शाश्वत आ गया। चौबीस है। ना तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। नॉट कंसर्न अबाउट और हो जाए बस कोई नंबर नहीं, बट ठीक है टाइम लगा। हाँ नहीं रहेंगे। मैं सिर्फ अभी संजीव को पूछूंगा रिकॉर्ड किया है।